I would like to remind everybody, as serious as all this stuff we cover on the show is, I refuse to take assholes like this seriously. So I will joke about all these subjects and all these elements freely and without fear. Because war isn't a joke. He is. People who are harmed or are in fear of being harmed from it during an evacuation aren't ridiculous or funny. He is. Do you understand how this works? Cool. And now, because then we can all just kind of slough off the weight of the actual issues, because no one's actually taking this dickhead seriously. If you get upset by what he says in any genuine way, you're making a very, very drastic mistake, in that you actually think there's some worth, value, or weight to anything that these folks that I'm going to show you on the show today say. And there isn't. Okay? None. Guys. Okay, guys. Okay, guys. And this one, let's start off, because this is a real problem for Junior, who apparently has been hanging out with Tucker Carlson. Hold on. Whoops. Let me make sure that my audio is turned on over here. There's clearly a parallel between these two.
I like wood.
You know what I mean? So let's see. This, by the way, the title of this video from Don Jr. is, and I have not watched it, "The ISIS drone strike is a joke." All caps. And by the way, it's not like, it wasn't an ISIS drone strike. It was a U.S. drone strike on ISIS. But he has to write it like this, because if he wrote, "The U.S. drone strike is a joke," you'd see what he really feels. Let's go into some Fuck America from Don Jr. Oh, and then we got to watch.
You ever wondered what actors and actresses do when they have to get in shape really fast for a movie?
Yeah, steroids.
Big news out of...
Yeah, steroids. Oh, sorry, we'll back up.
Guys, big news out of Afghanistan.
Guys, big news out of Afghanistan. So we're coked up and ready for this one. This. And by the way, are we pretending to be woodsy? Is that what this is? Is it?
The Pentagon says that they killed 2 high-profile ISIS planners, people that were involved in the planning of the attack on the airfield in Kabul. They were able to kill them in a drone strike.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, I don't say it right. Guys, I almost choked it out. I don't know how anybody does it. Guys, you have to remember that Don Jr. will not be happy unless your sons and daughters, poor people's kids, get sent into a war zone to kill people. We lose a soldier, it didn't happen, according to the brawny man. It's more like the brawny.
Now, they are not going to release the names of those high-profile ISIS terrorists that they just killed with a drone strike. Now,
hold on. Is that the case? Let's see. Let's see. New window. Bring this over here. Is this planner killed by drone strike? That ought to do it, right? We should be able to find that up. Let's do the newest one. Let's see. We'll do news. See the well, Fox News isn't carrying the name, so we'll see over here. Let's see. U.S. carries out drone strike. Let's see. Name. Let's just. Weapons with choices drone. Counterterrorism, ISIS planner. Man strikes. Urban did not make a question about who was the planner or the connection. Okay. Thursday attack on 11 Marines. Another 18 members wounded in the China. Our progress of Pakistan's anti-border has been ISIS stronghold since 2015. 24 energy was told the force communication with the Taliban in terms of how they are executing the agenda with the U.S. Taliban. Man, can I just show you guys something real quick? Okay, so this is from Military Times. Imagine this fucking job. You think, like, TSA has a hard time looking through the bags of, like, maggots who packed it. Like, oh, I forgot I packed my gun. Oh, thank you for becoming a new patron. Right on. Bless you. U.S. soldiers with the 82nd Airborne Division checking evacuees during an evacuation at Hamid Karzai International Airport on August 25th. Imagine putting your hands into someone's bag in this circumstance, in this walled area, where if you found a bomb or something that was about to go off, if it didn't get you immediately, you're not going anywhere. Why do you want their names? Are you sending condolence cards? Absolutely. Yeah, that's why he wants them. Let's see. U.S. military forces conducted an over-the-horizon counterterrorism operation today against an ISIS-K planner. Navy Captain Bill Urban, CENTCOM spokesman said in a statement, the unmanned airstrike occurred in the Nangarhar province of Afghanistan. That's near Pakistan. Initial indications are that we killed the target. We know of no civilian casualties. Also, by the way, they hit another one since Chump Jr. Posted this. Let's see, and the truck. They also hit a truck that was full of explosives, amongst others. And I showed you guys the attack drone that they used. The bomb they used didn't have explosives in it. Primarily, it throws a halo of blades at someone, which is just fucking, it's just like evil Batman. It's amazing. Like, that missile is friggin' crazy. So I will see if they eventually release the name. Obviously, it's not somebody on the level of you know, someone that Trump killed. I'm sure he always killed the better people, even though ISIS-K is a small contingent of ISIS in the west of Afghanistan. They've taken over parts of the Northeast, so clearly through line, and they are fighting with the Taliban. But Junior's very upset.
Couple things. This is the same military, administration, bureaucracy that had no problem releasing the names of American citizens, our friends and allies who have helped us for the last 20 years in Afghanistan, to the Taliban, a terrorist organization that they themselves...
But they got out. It worked. I mean, this, honest to God, this would be a talking point if a bus or car had been blown up and didn't get through a checkpoint. Because they were like, ah, thank you for this list of traitors. Bang, bang. They didn't. There's no, he's not even going to make the assertion that this happened. But, Coke finger up.
Say they do not trust. Okay? So they had no...
Well, yeah, they don't trust them any more than, I don't know, say someone would trust Kim Jong-un, for example, or Vladimir Putin. But you deal with them because you have to. I mean, I wouldn't shake hands with them, I mean, because there'd be, you know, there's a very strong chance they might have some sort of contact poison on their hand just for this one last mission. And they built up a resistance to iocane powder over the last few years.
Problem releasing a kill list, giving the Taliban
a kill list that apparently didn't actually result in any kills, which I think would be crucial to a kill list. Otherwise, it might as well be a shopping list.
Blueprint, and by the way, leaving behind biometric scanners to help make finding the people on the kill list that they handed over to them. They had no problem with that. They have...
Yeah, they don't work unless they're hooked up to our command, and they don't get updated. And it's the biometric scanners, like, so you scan somebody's eyeball in case they don't have ID, and you know whether they're a good guy or bad guy. It doesn't go, oh yes, this is an ally. It doesn't go green or something like that. Like, it's a little more complicated than that. It will give you a code, but it won't say whether that code is positive or negative. The soldiers know that, but Don Jr. doesn't.
No problem giving American citizens and the world who are distraught after this disgusting and despicable attack that killed 13 incredible U.S. service members. They're not going to give you their names. Let me translate what this means.
Cool. Everybody, if we have any imbeciles watching, you're about to get the news translated into imbecile. Congratulations. I've been confused for a while, so this is how you find out you're an imbecile. He finally explains it in a way you're like, oh my God, I had no idea.
I've been watching this stuff for a few years. I think I figured it out. It means
It means you're reading off a fucking piece of paper. Did you guys just see that? Did you? He's about to do his translation, and then he looks straight down at his cheat sheet. Son of a bitch.
A few years, I think I figured it out. It means a couple of things. It means it either didn't happen at all. It means they either weren't even remotely high profile if they did, or it means...
Well, ISIS-K isn't a high profile group. So there's really no stars yet. You know what I mean? I mean, we're honestly going to have to wait for their third album to see if they actually have any hits. What the fuck is he talking about? High profile.
They probably killed some poor and unsuspecting goat herders, and they're just going to say, I think that was right. The intel was right.
And by the way, notice how he set up his translation therein. He's been watching the last couple of years. So what he learned over the last couple of years is that military leaders in the United States military will blow up some civilians and then tell the president that they got somebody important. And then the president will go out and brag that he got somebody important when it really wasn't somebody important. Where would he have ever gotten that idea in the last 2 years?
Their other intel was right? Hunter Biden's laptops, that's Russian disinformation. These people are morons and they don't know anything. Okay? Again, this same...
I don't know where that diversion into Hunter Biden's laptop being Russian disinfo, but this somehow being real. I don't know where that is supposed to go. It's fascinating, though. He seems very upset.
People that did not see this...
I looked at his notes again. It's a 5-minute video. 2 cheats already.
Right? Our generals, the woke generals, so busy focusing on white rage and critical race theory, they did not see this coming. But they were able to find the 2 people responsible for the planning and kill them with a missile from thousands of miles away.
Yeah, it's actually hard to find the people who planned something that hasn't happened yet if you haven't already killed them so that they're not planning things. What does CRT have to do with anything? The woke generals thing is what they're using as the excuse why, I guess why we're finally getting out of Afghanistan. It's very weird. There's a lot of dichotomy in this because, you know, the woke CIA ads and stuff that they keep referencing were shot and filmed during the Trump administration to be, as hiring tools. But even beyond that, I'm guessing that's I can't figure it out. I think largely he just believes that if you make the generals look like wussies who are liars, that's why we're getting out and that's why it would have failed. But then while Trump was in office, he put a bunch of these guys in charge of things and was buying it hook, line, and sinker anyways. Like, what about this did his dad not believe?
They're not going to release the names, though.
They're not? They're not? They didn't confirm them right away, but they're not eventually going to release the names? Maybe they wanted to wait until our people were out before they started notching their belt about who we killed, because it might have ratcheted up attacks. Think about that. You think that Americans were still in harm's way at this point. By the way, we're out. We're out.
Guys, the same people that had no idea that this could possibly happen, the same people that had the incredible foresight to leave, what was it, like $80 billion worth of military-grade equipment, helicopters.
Let's see. Is that what it is? $80 billion worth of military. That's just gonna, yeah, that'll show up. I mean, not that he's going to believe this, but I mean, I think it's worth addressing. The Biden administration gifted the Taliban with $80 billion plus in military-grade weapons, but now wants your 9mm pistols. This is the whole thing. These are no proof Biden left Taliban $80 billion in weapons or that he wants America's pistols. There's been no accounting of how much military equipment was left in Afghanistan after U.S. troops withdrew and the Taliban resumed control of the country. One expert says aircraft and other military equipment are likely worth less than $10 billion. And every day, as soon as you drive it off the lot, its resale value goes way down. Biden has not called for taking away 9mm pistols from Americans. Popular take on Facebook is that the Biden administration, with its withdrawal, the current regime, just gifted the Taliban with $80 billion worth of military-grade weapons, wants to take your 9mm viral image claims. And that's where this comes, yeah. Right. So, whoops. Let me take this over here. I don't know why it doubled up on that guy. So, yeah, no, we didn't leave $80 billion worth. We spent $80 billion in weapons for the Afghans, but they used them, spent them, broke them, have them. We took them. They blew them up. We blew them up. There's a lot in there. We removed some odd. Let's see. America removes military weaponry from Afghanistan. Let's see. 2014. Let's see. All right. Afghan wars as a remarkable president showing true withdrawal. 8 days ago. Let's see. Must contain. We removed a lot of stuff. Remember this article? This is from New York Times? Yeah, New York Times. U.S. troops to leave Afghanistan by end of 2016. 2 American soldiers and a member of the Afghan military looked for caves with weapons caches near Kandahar in February. President Obama declaring it was time to turn the page on a decade in which so much of our foreign policy was focused on the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, announced on Tuesday that he planned to withdraw the last American troops from Afghanistan by the end of 2016. Under a new timetable outlined by Mr. Obama in the Rose Garden, the 32,000 American troops now in Afghanistan would be reduced to 9,800 after this year. That number would be cut in half by the end of 2015. By the way, he got down to 8. That's how many were there when Trump took office, approximately. And then it went up to 15,000, back to 8, and then down by 5 right before the election because he was trying to pull everybody out, but he didn't have a plan to remove any of the embassy staff, any of the civs, any of that stuff. He just was blowing it off, so they didn't do it. He just punted till May 1st, and then in May 1st, they would have gone, well, it's really better to wait till winter, right? That number would be cut in half by the end of 2015, and by the end of 2016, there would be only a vestigial force to protect the embassy in Kabul and to keep Afghans with military purchases and other security matters. Help the Afghans with military purchases and other security measures. At the height of the American involvement in 2011, the United States had 101,000 troops in country. Americans have learned it's harder to end wars than it is to begin them. No shit. Yet this is how wars end in the 21st century. Despite Mr. Obama's attempt to signal the end of 13 years of American military engagement in Afghanistan, the United States will continue to have troops engaged in lethal counterterrorism operations for at least 2 more years. The president also conceded the United States would leave behind a deeply ambiguous legacy. Yeah. Besides carrying out operations against the remnants of al-Qaeda, the troops that stay behind will train Afghan security forces. That worked out well. But from 2015 onward, they did their best, by the way. It wasn't the training that was the problem. They will be quartered at Bagram Airfield and in Kabul, the capital, where they will be supplemented by NATO troops. Alliance members are likely to follow America's lead in pulling out by the end of 2016. A lot of them, by the way, did. The unilateral nature of Mr. Obama's announcement underscored the loss of trust between him and President Hamid Karzai, who got an airport out of the deal, I guess, who has refused to sign a long-term security agreement with the United States. Any American deployments after 2014 will hinge on the Afghans signing the agreement, Mr. Obama said, though he noted that both candidates in the runoff election to replace Mr. Karzai have promised to do so. Yeah, Ghani did. The rest is anti-history. Let's see. The priority of General Dunford and his team has been to keep as many troops as possible in Afghanistan for the 2015 fighting season, which is fucking if there's ever been an example. Oh, thank you so much, Christopher, for becoming a patron. Right on. Patreon.com/HalSparks. Thank you for your support. We salute you. Said Jeremy Bash, a former chief of staff at the Pentagon, referring to the commander in Afghanistan, Joseph Dunford Jr. The White House did not say how many of the troops remaining after 2014 would conduct counterterrorism missions. Let's see if they. I don't know if I have anybody pushing back. We never signed up to be a permanent security force in Afghanistan to fight against the Taliban, said the official who asked not to be identified under White House protocol for briefing reporters. The residual force is low. Jack Keane, blah, blah, blah. Even defenders of Mr. Obama said they were concerned that the rapid pace of drawdown would not preserve the security gains made in more than a decade of war in Afghanistan. Time will tell whether we can meet that standard at this pace. Apparently not. Because that standard was not met at a pace of 7 more fucking years. But I just bring everybody back to that idea.
Drones, fully automatic machine guns, Humvees, artillery, to fall into the hands of the Taliban in days. Those same people, brilliant war fighters, our generals, right? Our woke generals, incredibly brilliant people. I would never want to say otherwise because I'll get criticized. Brilliant people.
Well, you can get criticized, but you won't face any real trouble, though. That's the good thing. First of all, because you're an American and we can talk shit about our military and our government and get away with it. And it's kind of one of the things that makes this country beautiful. But the main reason why you won't ever get in trouble is because you never would and never did serve in the military, and therefore were never held to a standard where you had to, avoid speaking ill of the chain of command. See, that was very easy. That you and Bone Spurs never really got, had to worry about that. You could always just shit talk everybody.
They could not see any of that coming. But in about 24 hours, they were able to find and kill the people who perpetrated this attack, right?
Yeah. After something happens, it's way easier to find evidence and get intel and find out who did something before they do something that they were planning in secret in a car 800 miles away. I mean, is this the right wing finally asking for Minority Report? You know what I mean? Where they just kind of, we know that this terrorist attack is going to happen in 3 days. Let's just arrest everyone beforehand.
The same people that could not tell us how many people and American citizens were actually in Afghanistan.
That's because, and don't forget to check your notes. That's because not all of them were registered members of the embassy staff or State Department or whatever. There were a lot of Americans who were in country as private citizens conducting private business. And not all of them wanted to leave. And there was an indeterminate number of the people who were there as private citizens who did want to leave, that were there as private citizens who didn't want to leave, that were there as embassy staff and the like, that for some unknown fucking reason would not want to leave, which I doubt was any, but I guess a generalized unknown that you'd have to put in the equation. And then, of course, those lovely folks we like to call contractors who very well may have a security contract from some rich Afghanistan business person or poppy field operator who might go, hey, if you guys want to stick around here, we'll give you all the guns and stuff you want, and you can just shoot back and we'll pay you. Those folks aren't going to get on a C-17 and fly away, even though, technically speaking, the State Department knows they are in Afghanistan.
Could not guarantee their safety, could not help them get into airports.
Well, they were helping them get into airports, but they weren't going to transport them to airports because they were busy actually getting people from our embassy there, not just random people who were making money off the Afghan conflict who also happened to be dual citizenship or American citizens.
Couldn't do pretty much anything. Actually sent them a thing saying basically you're on your own. Then they, pull it back.
Is that what they said?
Oh, it's not ideal. They'd say they couldn't get our people. They don't have the...
There's a weird little lag in that. It was funny. I would have backed up and shot it again. I mean, I do my show live, so I have little lags every so often as I'm reading something or doing something. There really is no excuse.
Capability, even though the British, French, German, and Dutch are doing it, those same people could not...
Well, they're doing it because all of our people are the ones flying them out of the country. And they don't have a deal with the Taliban. So in some cases, their contractors, for example, they have to go get. And they're also not riding through town in, armored vehicles or whatever. And the Taliban is largely leaving them alone because they're part of our deal with the Taliban.
Any of those things could not function competently for the last few decades.
And yet, we should have stayed. And your dad knew this through and through. That's why he created a perfect plan to leave Afghanistan and never used it.
Fairness. But magically, in about 24 to 48 hours, they were able to find the people that did this and planned it and kill them in a drone strike.
Yeah, not that weird. They're at war with the Taliban. The Taliban, there were Afghans murdered in that. The Taliban would want to know, and they would tell us. There are folks among them that would tell us where they think it was.
You gotta be kidding me. Is anyone this dumb?
Really, you had to look at your paper for the "is there anyone this dumb" part?
Believe this, given how badly
I've seen people have like the Coke vein in the forehead. Is there a reason why his is deflated? I mean, I don't know anybody that injects straight into here, but can you kill a vein that way?
Formed over the last few weeks. Do you think that given the leaks that we've seen over the last 5 years that someone wouldn't be saying, here, look, there's the picture. This is the guy we got. That's him. That's the guy we got. He's a real big high-profile ISIS guy. They'd be...
Well, no, because it's a different administration and they don't need to pat themselves on the back just to get a tiny win from folks like you by holding up the picture because it might endanger human lives while we're doing the extraction process, and we can hit them. And also by making them famous, by drawing attention to those folks, you make it more important to rise up in said organizations. The United States recognizes our organization and the power of our leaders. And therefore, if you become a leader, you will have a status on the world stage instead of, yeah, we had to wipe out another random asshole who thought it was a good idea to solve his problems with strapping suicide bombs to somebody else's, kid, probably who has a mental disorder or learning disability, whom they use regularly for this kind of thing. Who was it? Who gives a fuck? I mean, it's a snake that keeps regrowing its head anyways in a lot of these places. So why would you call it out? There's a really good reason why in these situations you would avoid bragging that you got somebody, because the next dude in line will know they're on the target list and take precautions because they know the kind of strikes you're carrying out, and that they'll also say, see, I'm going to be the dude. People are going to be playing my audio cassettes on the BBC.
Over CNN, they'd be all over MSDNC, they'd be everywhere trying to...
Dude, there's a squeakiness going on. Again, he's moved into the, like, Andrew Dice Clay character. Oh, he's this close. Listen how, like, pinched his vocal cords are getting. Is this how you show that you're aggravated in this family? It's like, you know, when you ever have that moment where your dad lowers his voice and you're like, ooh, dad is serious. Apparently, in this family, it's just a bunch of, like, geese lifting their necks and that's how Bass Shapiro. This is how you get attention in that household. You have to heighten your pitch to do everything you can to make your voice travel further than Ivanka's.
A desperate victory lap given all of their failures. But guess what, guys? Remember.
Wait, they didn't take a desperate victory lap to cover their failures? Might be because they don't consider these failures. They consider them the reality on the ground of getting out of a 20-year war, and that they don't have the failures that your dad had because multiple times during this fucking video, he has said that for 5 years, for the last 20 years, it's been a mess. Everybody's been lying. The generals all lie about this. They cook up some sort of blah, blah, and your dad bought it hook, line, and sinker, and we stayed in all 4 years of his presidency. There is no point where he actually went, aha, I'm the guy who's figured out that they're bullshitting me. Trump, you know, the whole 4 years, the magic plan, just like his taxes, just like his healthcare plan, it's just right around the corner. Just hang out.
Can't fact check what you don't know.
Is that why your dad didn't release his taxes? Pow! You can't fact check what you don't know. That's exactly why. That's exactly why your dad doesn't release his taxes. Well done. It's finally occurred to you.
Can't say that's not a high-profile guy if you don't know their name. So if
how about if they tell you the name and you're like, who the fuck is that? I'm like, yeah, he was the guy who planned it. Well, he doesn't sound very high profile. Well, he was the guy that did it. Yeah, but is he a star? They said it was one of the planners. You got one of the brains of the organization, not the mouthpiece. And this asshole thinks that if the mouthpieces aren't the ones you're hitting, is it really a target?
Been watching, be really skeptical, because I have a feeling that these incompetents didn't do anything.
Yeah, but your feeling is based on the fact that your dad is a nutless scrotum, that you don't know what's going on, and you're both staring down the barrel of like multiple lawsuits and no help and protection from the federal government because your dad doesn't run shit anymore.
I don't think they're capable of doing anything other than probably destroying our country from within.
Okay, there you go. The former president's eldest son saying that the United States military is not capable of doing anything except destroying America from within. Seriously, I don't know why he didn't save this up for next 4th of July.
They're woke PC BS. Keep watching, guys.
I'm sorry. I'm a little loosey-goosey on what woke means, but does woke mean sending a knife missile that shreds its target at 2 people in a car and obliterating them, and then dust bombing 2 other vehicles, one filled with explosives that had a secondary explosion that was gigantic? Same little knife missile, but caused an explosion. Is that woke? I'm sorry. I missed the part where, like, are gender studies programs at colleges calling for knife missiles now? I mean, I kind of wouldn't be surprised at this point. But how does that fit into the... It's a buzzword for these assholes.
Pass this on. Don't buy into the hype.
Yeah, nobody's passing on. It's like 1358 rumbles, dude. Yeah, it's 1358 out of the 4,000 views and 1358. Dude, I get those numbers, and I'm not related to a former president. We got 3,000 new subscribers on this channel in the last 9 days. 9 days. Ooh, I'm going to make you 9 pies. A pie for every day. You like shrimp? I'm going to bring you shrimp so fresh, they're going to crawl right up on your plate and cook them themselves. Oh, you don't have to. Boop, boop, boop.
I think you guys...
So, defending your life reference. And if you haven't seen the movie, you should, because I kind of did it perfect.
know exactly what I'm talking about. I think you know exactly how wrong all of these people have been for years, and we must...
And your dad apparently missed it. All 4 fucking years. Never got us out. They were wrong the whole time. None of them knew shit. They were always lying. They would pretend to hit big targets when they hit little ones. And his dad didn't see through it. And now Biden comes in, sees a report, a very specific report, saying that the generals have been painting a particularly rosy picture. And Biden was right about the surge, that it wouldn't ultimately result in anything and that we should just get the fuck out. And he was overruled. And Robert Gates came out and said, Biden's been wrong about everything. And they tout that quote left and right, but he was right about the surge and the change and the difference it would make in the fucking... in the government and the military of Afghanistan, which was 0. It cost more American lives. 64 Americans lost their lives during the Trump administration's years. And still the fucker had a magic plan and it didn't come from anywhere. How in the shit where in this? Hold on one second. I need to find something. What's a good one? I think this will probably be it. There you go. Hold on. As the creator of Trump's magic plan, and of course the god that rules planet Bandahar, named after Trump's favorite freed Taliban leader, Baradar, sorry. I screw up my own planet's name. It's a mistake anybody could make. I would like to say that everything that Don Jr. has said is completely true. That while mistakes were made, the magic plan was almost there. Look, we've been working on it. It was about 2 weeks away. And I looked at it, there were a couple of typos, and after that whole thing with Sidney Powell, I was like, Trump will not like this. So we went back, we did a couple of revisions, and I have to be honest, the printer ran out of toner. It could happen anywhere. It can happen on Earth, and it can happen in a place that has 1/6 the gravity and causes exorbitant growth in human craniums. It's just a reality you deal with. And so I just want you to know we finished the magic plan. I fixed the printer and it came out and a dog ate it. And then we made another print. And then I personally licked the envelope, put a stamp on the thing and sent it out. I don't know why it's not there. It's any day now, I swear. Oh, by the way, I don't want you to forget, I was in charge of this too, because they give me you show that you're competent, and unbelievably, it's why is my little picture in this thing why am I up in the corner? This is not right. Hold on. This is just wrong. Hold on. Fix myself. This is just wrong. Here you go. I'll finish what I was saying. Where was I? Oh yes. Dog ate the perfect plan. We printed another copy. I mailed it out in the envelope with the perfect Afghanistan withdrawal, which included a way to get everyone out, every American out, all of our Afghan allies, but not bringing any of them to America, and every piece of military gear, nut, bolt, airplane, gun, bullet, shell casing, everything. Like we committed a murder and we mopped the fucker. And then after that, we got everything out. Then we removed all of our soldiers. And still there's a plan to keep Bagram Air Force Base and support staff and the ability to make long-range military strikes from it, including airplanes, bombers, and other shit. It was in there, though. Trust me on that. But in there, with it, was several checks that Trump signed and I personally was the accountant for that paid for all of the leftover costs from his rallies, all of the security costs, cleanup, sanitation, porta potties, which, by the way, I was not always this color. It happened when I was actually personally helping remove all of the porta potties in Wellington, Ohio. So, all I'm saying is trust your grand overlord and all who serve him. Nanu nanu. Sorry. That was just kind of a dick move. All right. Where was I? Oh, yeah, bullshit. Did it work? Did that work? Okay. Yes. No, he's not an illegal alien. 5 alien eggs. We need more of these? All right. I'll do what I can. We'll see. I'm not going to spoil you, though. Maybe one per video today. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, that was a message. A message from the magical planning department of the Trump administration in exile. So, okay, I'm sorry, what was this, dickhead? Finish what you were saying, stupid.
Stop putting our faith in them, because they have not earned our faith. They have failed at every step of the way, and they will continue to do so if we allow it. Guys,
well, asshat, just for the record, they got 113,000 plus people out there. That's the ones they're telling us about. And the goal was 50, then 60, then 80. So, and then on top of that, your dad could have gotten all of them out with his magical plan and never did. Never ever. Didn't do shit. Fuck off. Your dad coulda. If your dad coulda, he woulda. And he couldn't, so he didn't. So fuck you and your magical thinking. Because there you go. 123,000. Thank you, Ronin Blade. So, yeah, we'll do the exact number as close as we can at some point. And thank you guys for joining the show today. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up or give us a thumbs down if you're a troll and you hate the fact that I hand this asshole his lunch every day, or mess with the other folks or whatever. Please give us a thumbs down. Write something in the comments that's, derogatory. If it's got, bigoted language and stuff, it'll automatically get broomed. So I'm just going to warn you, just stay within due bounds of proper behavior. Act like you're in public and you're not at a school board meeting where you're threatening people's lives or knocking over mask stands in a fucking supermarket. But you're certainly welcome here. And thanks for helping spread the news. Because like I said, it's in many ways, it's the trolls that watch and write and thumbs down and get mad at me that are making the show grow as fast as it is. That and our beloved viewers who share the show and its clips, of which we make many. So thank you guys. Thank you for subbing, and thank you for especially on Twitch, twitch.tv/HouseBarks. There you go. All right, there. I'm trying to get used to doing more of my commercial stuff, and I just don't do it enough. I'm gonna do it. It feels ham-handed and wrong, but I deserve it, and you deserve it, and we should. That's the only way we could keep the show going. So there you go.